ready, we ready, we ready for ya. We ready, we ready, we ready for ya.
Special Teams Show. Normally, three brothers talking NFL. Myself, Rick, the oldest, Rob, the middle, and Reg, the little. We're minus the little today.
Where's
minus
Reg?
the little. What happened to Reg?
You know
He's not here.
That's all right because he's a yappy one anyways. So,
Well, when you take a beating on Monday nights at the hands of the Bears.
the Bears. Bears.
They went and did us a little favor, right? They kicked Reg's ass. Now he's whining. He's crying, right? Couldn't show up to the show. Tucked his tail. Couldn't show up to the show. He was afraid to face the wrath here. So pretty much the whole show, we're gonna take our shots at him as much as we can. We probably won't see him today, but we got a little something. We don't come unprepared. That's for sure. So got a little something, and folks,
Oh,
there he is. He's back.
There he is. He's giving us the old flex.
What's up, people?
He's got that old Eagles flex in the background. Yeah, I'm feeling it.
That's all I got.
Got our buddy Luke in the show again this week. We're really glad to have him. He was awesome the last time we had him on. So he's a great. We can make this a permanent thing. We just get Reg out all the time, and then we just the three of us. Not as pretty as Reg.
As you can see.
You know what?
Never come off my screen.
Well, here's the thing, right? He's the one that normally does all the stuff. So now I have to do all the stuff tonight, and I don't know how that's going to go. So we'll see how that flies. So anyway, week 12 in the books. Week 12 in the books, lads. You got anything to say? Anything that on top of your head you want to get off your chest right away, or we're feeling good and we want to jump right into it?
Well, I had to see a win from a certain team that I did, so that was good. And I think you'll see that this week that's maybe swayed my pick.
So you're not talking about the Lions, obviously.
No.
I was just gonna say
elephant in the room.
I don't even want to talk about the Lions.
What are you talking about? No, you might as well at this point. This is good.
But Dad goes to me the other day. He goes, he asked me something, and I in my head I said to him out loud, I said, I don't know. And then in my head I thought, fuck, my week ended like 3:30 on Thursday.
Yeah, it's a rough go, man.
You know what I mean?
That's a long wait to the next weekend after a loss.
Oh
yeah. So you pretty much bury your head.
It did start off the week really well on Thanksgiving. I mean, we had a lot of football Thursday, Friday, even Saturday and Sunday. I missed the Saturday game, but
but if you're a Lions fan, it didn't start very good.
Yeah, it was. If you're a Lions fan, but you know what? I will tell you. So, we can bring it up on the screen, but I will tell you the Packers looked good. They looked really good. So I don't know, man. I was a big fan of what I saw on Thursday from them. Not a big fan of what I saw from the Lions, and I imagine that's been a long week for you. So there it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Anything is, Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Green Bay goes into Detroit on Detroit Day, basically, and hands them a loss. Before we were talking Detroit being a pretty solid team, 29-22. The Packers, Christian Watson, they all looked the part. They're the number 2 in the NFC North now, or no, maybe not quite yet as far as the rankings are concerned. But the way Minnesota's playing right now, it might be scary. So I don't know. Let's keep an eye on that one. As you know,
like,
we
are they in it though?
Yeah.
Like, are the Packers actually in it? Like
The problem
are they in
is,
it?
yeah, you know, like it's a legit question. The problem is the NFC standings, the way the NFC breaks down. Like if I pull it up, see, this is another thing where Reg is the guy to like he handles all this stuff.
No, see, the Lions are 8-3, so the Packers are 3 games back.
Yeah, they're 3 games
The
back,
Lions have
but
nothing to worry about.
it's
You're right.
it's the wild card teams that I'm talking about. The NFC is not strong. Like you've got Dallas is in the Cowboys are in a wild card spot at 8-3. And then you've got the NFC South. It's currently the lead is 5-6. So other than getting into the playoffs, their lead, it's awful, right? So then you've got the Lions at 8-3, you've got the Vikings at 6-6, and you've got the Packers at 5-6. I'm telling you, even the NFC West is 6-5 and 5-6. They're not out of it.
Yeah.
They're definitely not out of it yet. But I mean, a lot of things have to happen. But teams get hot at the right time, right? That's all the key is you get hot at the right time, and who knows what can happen. So either way, there you go. Can't get rid of the smart one. Either way, so what we'll do is we'll talk about we'll recap our parlays real quick. Reg didn't do so hot. He missed on 4 of his parlays. Remember, he took all 3 games on Thursday, put them all together. So basically, he had 6 different legs. So of the 6, he missed on 4 of them. So he really only hit 2. So not a great outing for Reg. We got Rob here. Rob, if you want to talk about that one a little bit, it's up to you.
Yeah, I had Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He got 2. Sam Howell went over. I believe Sam Howell finished with 300 yards. I had him at 250.
Right.
Ish. So I missed. I had him as the under, so I missed Sam Howell. Noah Fant went over 16.5 receiving yards. And then A-Chain did not play. So because of that, he was voided out of that. So I went 2 for 3. Howell put up 300, and it is what it is.
Now, just for anybody who's not familiar with it, when a player doesn't play like that after you've already put in the bet just carries on, and they just eliminate whatever his bet line was. Is that correct?
So we had a feeling that A-Chain wouldn't play, and I said at the event that he didn't, just take Mostert. For the first touchdown, and I don't think Mostert got the first touchdown anyway, so it's a moot point. But
I'd have to look at it. I'm not sure.
Either way, he didn't play, and I still lost either way.
Yeah, fair enough. I did the same thing as Reg, so I took the 3 games, 2 legs, and I only cashed in on 3 of them. I got both of mine from the Niners game. I got Sam Howell with the over on the interceptions thrown, and then basically all my 2 defensive guys, Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, they were under on their tackles and assists, and then Jahmyr Gibbs did not get the anytime touchdown that I needed, so that sucked. Anyway, so not a great week for us, but we'll keep trudging along, see what we can come up with. Okay, on to week 12. So, lads, what we've been doing lately, and Luke, in case you're not sure, we just kind of I'm going to run through them. Is there anything you want to talk about, a specific game, just yell at me and we'll go at it. Otherwise, we'll just kind of get through this, and then that way we can get onto the juicy stuff. Sound good? Okay, so Washington 10, Dallas 45. Dallas put an absolute throbbing on the Commanders. They're pretty much
a throbbing.
Throbbing, just an absolute.
Well, then,
new words.
Scared.
Just want to make sure I heard that right.
I said throbbing.
Dallas likes to beat up on weaker teams, but like Sam Howell has like the attempts in the league by like a lot, which I had no idea till I was actually looking up some shit. It's like
he's not
scared of Chuck.
No, he's not. And you know what? If you look back at Dallas, and I'm going to try, it's really easy for me to beat up on Dallas. But if you look back on Dallas from the time, I don't mind it really. So just to talk about who they've played, Cowboys, they beat the Giants week 1. They beat the Jets. The Cardinals beat them. They beat the Patriots. The Niners beat the shit out of them. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Rams. And the Eagles beat them. And then they beat the Giants again. And now they beat the Panthers and now the Commanders. So when you go through that list, they are beating the shit out of really bad teams. And I'm a firm believer in you're supposed to beat bad teams. So of course they beat them, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at the list of the people who they're losing to, sure, they're scoring a lot on bad defenses, bad teams. But when they get into a game with a team that can play some ball, and when you get into the playoffs, you start looking at all these defensive teams and things like that in a league right now that the defenses are playing really, really well, right? So I don't know. The Cowboys could be in trouble come January. So I think that if they don't get,
I just feel like they haven't been challenged. Yeah, aside from the Eagles beating them, they're not a homer here. The Dallas probably should have won that game, like many other Eagles games. We'll get to that, but I just feel like aside from that, they haven't been challenged by someone solid yet. And
other than the Niners to beat the shit out of them. Yeah,
beat the shit out of
the Niners
them. That's right. So they've lost.
Yeah, they beat the hell out of them.
The two teams that matter. That's right. The two teams that matter.
Exactly. So that's the scary thing for Cowboys fans. Yeah, no, you're good. Anything can happen in January, right? But I don't know. What do you think, Rob?
I think you guys hit the nail on the coffin. Is that the Cowboys need to prove that they can win the games that they have to win to make it to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they're 0-2, like Luke said. They very easily could be 1-1, but there's no doubt that San Francisco game was a trouncing and
throbbing.
It was a very deep throbbing. Yeah, and a team like the Niners, though, you can't slow up, right? You have to score, and if you don't, that's what happens.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we won't spend much more time on that. Speaking of San Francisco, 31, Seattle. This was a beating as well. That one touchdown was a tip ball at the 49ers 20-yard line that went to a defender that ran it in for a touchdown. So 31-13. Otherwise, it was just field goals. Seattle did have one good drive, but other than that, it was an absolute beating. They pretty much had their way with them, right? So we have Miami 34, the Jets 13. We took Miami across the board here. Jacksonville, this one was a tough one to watch. Jacksonville, Houston 24-21. I was really excited about this game. A lot of shitty penalties in this game. Somebody had to win it, of course, but I really feel like Houston could have come away with this one. They just didn't. Reg and I obviously locked on opposite teams here, and I ended up with the fails. So that's I get it, but yeah, exactly, yeah, for sure. But I still have faith in Houston. I still think Houston's the strongest team in the AFC South. So I'm gonna keep riding with that, and that's my pick there. So. Pittsburgh.
That crossbar was a killer, man. That crossbar was a killer.
Oh, wasn't it though? Doink. I actually thought he had it. I was like, oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Unlike the one that we saw. Yeah, unlike the one that we saw, Sunday afternoon, the 59-yarder in the rain. Anyway, Pittsburgh 16, Cincinnati 10. We went Pittsburgh across the board here. Pittsburgh's on the upswing. Cincinnati's on the downswing. It's unfortunate kind of changing of the tides. You get rid of Matt Canada and maybe Pittsburgh starts to do some stuff. 16 points is still not enough, but at least they're getting some production there. So hopefully some good stuff happens. We've got Carolina 10, visiting Tennessee 17. I really don't care too much about these two teams. Carolina is probably the worst team in the league right now. As a result, we've just got our first head coach axing of the year. Poor Frank Wright. I think he's a good person, probably a great coach, but it's just not working out for him there, so they got rid of him. If he's not willing to play to the players' strengths, then you're probably gonna find your way out the door pretty fast.
Especially in New Orleans there with a young quarterback.
You can.
Quarterbacks calling the shots.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't waste you can't waste a top pick like that on a quarterback and then not play to his strengths. So apparently there was some talk this week that the ownership approached him about RPOs, and he said no, it doesn't fit our offense. So you've got an RPO quarterback.
Ballsy.
You're probably you're probably gonna have to have some RPOs in there, right? Like
So
and
next thing you know,
all this money.
Yeah, he got fired. Assistant coach got fired, and I want to say the quarterback coach got fired. Like all three of them.
Yeah, it was a whole slaughter.
None of you motherfuckers want to run an RPO? Bye.
No.
Oh,
The NFL
Deuce Staley.
2023.
Deuce Staley, the running backs coach, got the fuck out too. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, they just basically cleaned it. Yeah, they cleaned house. Yeah. New Orleans 15, Atlanta 24. Again, we talked about the NFC South being probably the worst division in the entire league. It's trouble down there. I don't even know what the hell they're doing. Somebody's going to have to show up to the playoffs. It'll be one of those situations where one of them shows up and fucking wins a wild card game, as far as I'm concerned.
One of them's going to get in there without a winning record.
Yeah, it's happened before. The NFC West.
Yeah,
the NFC West
going
is
to happen
on it.
again.
Yeah.
This is your token team right here to come in with a losing record into the playoffs.
It's brutal. You know what the worst part is that the worst part is I hate when I look at teams and I don't feel like I have an identity for those teams. Like I really, and you know what, I'm just realizing our little segment later on, I didn't include Arthur Smith, which he should be on that list. Either way, Tampa Bay 20, Indianapolis 27. Glad to see that somebody handed the NFC South a loss here. Indianapolis with the win across the board. We got New England 7. They're shit. The Giants 10. Rob went with New England here. I mean, this was a coin flip, right? Like, I mean, it was what it was.
The game finished 7-10. Like,
yeah, exactly. DeVito.
It was
DeVito
wasn't
out there
it like
doing
nothing going into the half or something too.
Oh.
It was like
Probably.
0-0 at halftime or something.
Chances
Well,
are
I was
good,
like,
unless
Jesus.
you're a Patriots fan or
How do you
a
do
Giants fan, you weren't watching this game.
No, you know what? No shit. While we were sitting here watching Red Zone, and I looked at Jen and I said, we were watching the 1:00 games. And I looked at Jen and I was like, do you believe this? And she's like, what? I was like, I think we were into the second quarter and there was 9 points scored across all the games, all field goals. I was like, this is awful, right? So many games on a Thursday, a game on a Friday, you just lose so many good teams, right? So
True.
Anyway.
You know what? Those Thursday and Friday games that came out were the teams that played were good games on paper.
Except for Washington. Probably Washington.
Even on paper, though, had Washington been playing the way that they had hoped, or the way that we had hoped they would at the start of the year, I think that would have been a good game. That was out of those 3 games. One of those games you knew there was going to be an upset, and it was who you going to take.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah,
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the beginning of the year, when you look at those games, other than Green Bay, was probably at the beginning of the year, you were like, I don't know about Green Bay. But at the beginning of the year, you really thought that you were going to get a game out of all of those, right? So,
Oh yeah.
So, okay, Cleveland, another team on the downswing. Cleveland 12, Denver 29. Denver, on the other hand, is on the upswing. Okay, hell yeah. Denver's on a roll. I think 5 in a row. 5 in a row. 5 in a row is a thing.
Let's ride.
Wild.
Yeah, let's ride. Yeah, that's right. Bronco country, let's ride. So I took the solo on here. I ended up with that was a good one for me. Rams 37, Arizona 14. The Rams put the shit kicking on the Cardinals here. Division game in Arizona, but it looked like what's his name, running back there in LA. He ended up with the running Hendrick. Is it Hendrick? No.
The rookie there.
Darrell Henderson. Yeah, Henderson.
Oh, Henderson's not a rookie. Yeah, he's been kicking around for a while.
Yeah, what's his name though? There's no I feel like it's Hendren. I don't know. I'm struggling with it. Either way. I know why I'm struggling with it. I'm looking at the Cowboys lineup here.
I got it. You keep talking.
So Rams 37, Arizona 14. A couple of us Red tried to go lone wolf on this one. Kyron Williams, that's who it is. Thank you. Reg tried to sneak one in here. He got busted. Buffalo 34, Philadelphia 37. Man, this the first half of that game didn't look so good. Listen to Jason Kelce, and he's like, "Man, we fucking sucked in the first half." He will tell you. He says it flat out. We sucked. And then, but you know what?
It rained so
But
hard,
this
like
is
they were
the-
just so miserable.
Yeah, and this is the thing. This is the thing with this team is they're willing to drop all the, not play so well in the first half. But man, are they ever gritty in the second half? Holy shit, right? Like,
Which is
looked
uncharacteristic of
good.
them. At the beginning of the year, Rick. It was like the first quarter, they would come out, fly hard, they would go, and then they just blow it. Rest of the game, they held on. Like the last 3
I do
games,
remember you
they
telling
were
me
the
about that.
second
Yeah,
half team, 100%, man. It's
yeah. I think they're calling the kicker there Jake Elliott.
Jake Elliott has won like so
yeah.
many, and we've talked about Jake Elliott in the past, where I said, like, when you have a team that just say the 40-yard on the opposing line, you're going to get 2 things out of the Eagles. You're going to get 3 points minimum, and if you're at 4th and 1, you're probably going to get a 4th down 9 out of 10. It's a pretty good deal, and anybody that makes fun of kickers and carries on, I mean, you get 12 points really quick if you can just get to the 4th and 40 and go 3 and out.
When you have a guy you can depend on in weather like that,
that's how they're winning.
End of the game,
wild.
you're down points.
And he's not even 100%. He's missed shit too.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it was crazy. The end of that game. I don't know if you were watching it or not, Rob, but Kelsey, that last drive, took a couple penalties, a couple false start penalties on the center, man. Like you should have heard him.
Yeah.
And it was, they were, it wasn't great. And everything looked like it was going to be Buffalo. And man, Philly just fought back and won this, and good for them, right?
Yeah.
Like it was, Buffalo looked a hell of a lot better than they have, for sure. It's really shitty because when you watch teams trying to defend that last minute, that last drive, for the first half of the field while Philadelphia is driving, they got to go and protect the long ball mode, right? Like they got to go and protect the end zone. Then as you get closer to the end zone, you start to tighten shit up, and it gets tougher and tougher and tougher, right? So I don't know, man. Good on the Eagles, man. Good win for them. Kansas City 31, Vegas 17. This was Rob's lock, so he took the lock here. He got it. Kansas City looked good. Yeah, did you watch this game, Rob?
Yeah, the game is close early. Josh Jacobs was. I remember I was listening to it on the radio, and I was saying to Dad, I said, "This is what they need to do with Josh Jacobs. So they need to hand the ball off to him and feed him for the first full 3 quarters, 2.5 quarters anyways, and then let him cook the last quarter and let him wear and lean on those defensive lines and, that front 8. And they did it. And then they, you saw what was happening by doing that. And then, like we say, Kansas City's another one of them teams where if they score points, you have to score points. You can't let them jump up on you.
Yeah, it was nice to see them scoring points for sure. I feel like their offense has been off. Obviously, we talked about drops and all that kind of stuff, but they finally look like they're starting to score some points. So good on them. Baltimore 20, the Chargers 10. Baltimore still probably the best team in the league right now. Most consistent team, I'll say, in the league right now. Maybe not the most firepower. The Eagles, the Niners, they can all make a run for the top team in the league, but Baltimore right now is playing consistent, solid ball. And when you're going into December, that's where you want to be, right? So I think they're a threat to any team. That's all I got really for that one.
Yeah, they're the best, least talk about team in the league. Like if you were got a dark horse, it's Baltimore Ravens right now, man. Like nobody talks about.
It's funny, right? Like
stuff teams. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah,
because that AFC North, fell out of grace. Remember, 3 weeks ago you couldn't talk about anything but the NFC North. AFC North.
Spread open a bit.
Yeah.
And now
Pittsburgh's moving up, the other two are moving down.
Now it's like we've stopped talking about them, other than maybe, this team's in trouble now. How does it affect them? I think once that power started to shift from the AFC North is when we stopped talking about Baltimore, and we can't sleep on Baltimore.
No, Baltimore's solid, man.
No.
Like they're a good team. They're a good squad for sure. Yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see down the stretch how it turns out. I think the Niners see
Baltimore is going to be a wicked game.
Yeah, we get them for sure. I think we get them on Christmas Day. which I mean, Merry Christmas. You're welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be a solid one. I'm just double checking here. Last but not least, the whole reason why we want to shit on Reg today is Minnesota took the L. Minnesota took the L at home to the Bears. I really wish he was here so we could give him shit. I really do.
I'm still not sold on Dobbs anyways, but
it was fun while it lasted.
This to me was a game where I was taking the home team.
Yeah, you know what? I felt like this was if Dobbs was going to at least play and give them a chance to be in the playoffs, he was going to beat the shit out of the Bears on this game. And instead he threw 4 interceptions. I mean, it is what it is.
Fields wasn't much better either. Like Fields was.
No, he wasn't.
This was a hard game to watch. I'm super excited about this game. And 3-3 at the half, I would already lost interest. And no fault to anybody. If you're a fan, you're a fan. You're gonna watch the whole game. But it was just like
right.
It felt like two backup quarterbacks playing each other, to be honest.
There's nothing worse than feeling like you have to work to make it through a football game. Right, where you're like, oh, I just got to make it through this game. Like,
got to get to halftime. Got to get here.
Then you get to halftime, you're like, maybe things will turn around. And then they come out and they do something stupid in the second half, and you're like, oh God, it's still happening, right? Like, no, I wasn't.
Like, imagine if the Vikings didn't start 0-3.
Yeah, this is one of those games.
Like this was a huge game for them to win, man. They needed this game.
Yeah, and this is one of those games
changes everything if they
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. The funny thing about a game that plays out like this is that when we're sitting in April, March, May, all in that area, we would kill to watch NFL football, right? So there's nothing worse than on a Monday night, you're sitting around watching a football game. You're like, you feel guilty for going to bed, right? You feel guilty. You're like, I can't give up on this team. Like if it's my team, I stick it out, no problem. But because it's not my team and this is the product that's on the field, you're like, nah, I'm out. Like I can't do this shit, right? So either way, that was week 12. So it was cool having the Thanksgiving games. The week actually felt really long, and I know the Niners played on Thursday, so that's part of it. But the whole football week, like the playing of the games, because I did watch the Saturday game. I watched Penn State played Friday night. I watched that game. So a lot of football spread it over a long time this week. So felt like it just kept going and going and going. It was nice. Anyway, okay. Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so moving on to our recap as far as our pick'ems between the three of us. We'll get Luke back in the fold for next week. Make sure that we compare his notes because he beat the shit out of us last time. So this week, I was a big winner again. Reg better watch the fuck out. Right, so he didn't show up today. He's scared. Not only did the Vikings lose, but now I'm only 2 games back. Even Rob, he dogged on Rob a little bit for his picks last week. Rob still ended up in double digits, so Reg better be careful. He's getting close. It's getting close. Here we are, 85, 74, and 83.
2 back.
So I'm only 2 games back. Yeah, I'm only 2 games back. So
you picked up a lot. That was a big 13 this week.
So the last 2 weeks I've had a couple good weeks. So it's been
Rob's
good.
9 back.
Solid.
Rob needs some miracles.
What was that?
Oh, I'm 11. 11 back from where I want to be.
Yeah, 9 from me. Yeah, well, he's 9 from not being last, right? Nobody wants to be last out of the 3 of us, right?
Yeah, no one wants to be 0.
Yeah.
I'm last.
And we're not keeping totals on your scores because you beat the shit out of us so bad first week that we don't want nothing to do with you.
Beginner's luck, bro. Beginner's luck.
All right. So segment this week.
Oh boy.
It was about time. Coaches are on the hot seat. Okay. It's that time of season where we start talking. We've been talking about it behind the scenes for the last couple of weeks. And then of course, Frank in Carolina, he gets the boot. He takes a whole coaching staff with him basically. And so it was time to talk a little in and out. So basically, the lads and I, we're going to go around the horn here. We're going to talk about a couple of different coaches. I did leave one out by accident, but we'll see whether or not they're in or whether they're out, on whether this coach is in the hot seat. And if they're in the hot seat, lads, tell us what you think about when that firing. You think it's going to be a mid-season firing? You think it'll be an end-of-season firing? What do you think? So Here we go. Frank Reich. We're just doing a T's and P's to Frank Reich.
Peace.
Sorry, lad. You're out. Peace. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Oh, shit.
That's a horrible picture of
Before
him
we
too,
go-
by the way.
Yeah, I did my best. Looks like fucking
Like-
death warmed over, right?
He
Right?
doesn't
Frank,
look healthy.
we're gonna let you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank, you're
Good
looking.
luck after 1 in 10, idiot.
Yeah. You're the perception on the field.
Like,
looks,
like how has he
yeah,
not gone? Yeah,
Man, I can't.
like way too long.
Isn't this
this,
too-
this was not good.
This is
for
twice
Brady.
this is twice he's been fired in the first season, right? I think he got fired
is it?
twice in the first season.
I didn't-
Yeah, I think I heard that today. Yeah. So not good for
Oh, shit,
good old
yeah.
Frankie baby there. Maybe it's time to go back to
It's not
the
good
old
track
assistant position there. All right, first up, Riverboat Ron. Ronnie Rivera. We all love him. Everybody loves Ron. He speaks his mind. He can be a little aggressive if he needs to, but he's over there in Washington. New ownership. 26-35-1 as the head coach there in Washington. And right now, the Washington Commanders are basically in a fire sale, right? They're cleaning house. They're going to be looking to bring in a brand new quarterback. So lads, we'll start with Luke on this one. Are you in or are you out? Is he on the hot seat or not?
Hot seat all day. You know.
Yeah. What do you think? You think he makes it through the season?
I think he makes it through the season. Yeah, I think they do them the digging to the end, and like he'll get fired on that Black Monday. I'll like call it there. Like that's where I could see them letting that go and then hit the reset button
For sure.
officially. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, good call. Rob, what do you think?
You know what? I think Ron Rivera's time is done. If you look at Ron Rivera, it's very easy for me to draw comparisons to another head coach because he's my head coach, and that would be Dan Campbell. Same idea, right? Very outgoing, boisterous, rolling the dice. Well, guess what? Dan Campbell is the new Ron Rivera, and the
really
riverboat
is.
has been sunk.
Yeah,
I think Ron Rivera's time, possibly in the NFL, is coming to an end. Even.
Yeah, he had some health battles there and stuff like that. He won the battles, but yeah, I agree. I think Ron's time is coming to a close. I don't know. I mean, there's no benefit to them getting rid of him mid-season. It just causes a shit show right now. They could just let him ride out the season, and then that way they can start the hiring. But the problem is they have to be in a position to make sure that when all the coordinators start getting interviewed, that they're first in line. Like they've got to be there because if they want to make a run at the NFC East at any time, they've got to be involved. And before we do this, we've talked enough shit that he showed up.
no way.
The biggest shit talker is here.
He's like, I'm coming on here now. These
Yeah, he's
guys-
like, I'm sick and tired.
Doesn't even
my
have jersey on.
My ears were burning. I'm sure you guys were talking shit about the Vikings.
Oh man, it never stopped.
Reg
Never
is in.
stopped. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Something I do want
see you
to
guys.
say before we
Yeah.
get off track here potentially is that the darling of the ball, if you would, for coordinators to be hired is Ben Johnson. And you were in a situation similar to this not long ago, Rick, with Salah. And you don't want to see your coordinators leave, but you hope that they go and blossom and do something well, right? So I'm hoping
I've lost
Johnson
3.
stays until we win the Super Bowl this year. But I
I've
don't want to
lost
see him
3,
go
by
early.
the way.
Yeah.
3 of them. I lost in three years in a row. I lost Salah, I lost McDaniel, and then I lost D'Amico Ryans. So
yeah.
And we're talking about coordinators. Anyway, all right, Reg, in or out on Ron Rivera? Is he in?
Uh,
Hey, man, I feel
Ronnie
like
can-
Kubiak will get asked about it too, but
Kubiak?
Yeah.
well, I think like a team like Carolina could easily pursue something. Anyway,
Yep, I agree. All right, Reg, in or
Ronnie
out?
can ride himself all the way down the river. I think he's done. New
exactly.
ownership, all that kind of stuff. It's just might as well a fresh start, right? Like they've sold off half their team. It's a good time. Get a new coach in there, get something new, fresh, and maybe get a new culture going on for the Commanders.
Yeah, for sure.
Get a
good call.
commander in there. So
Robbie, you're up for a Matt Eberflus out of Chicago. What do you got for Matty?
You know what? Eberflus is probably in the best situation out of this entire list to keep his job, in my opinion. And that is the fact that he's got an offensive coordinator over there by the name of Getsy. He's got 8 turnovers with 16 points. This Getsy does, his offensive coordinator. So Eberflus is going to stand up on his soapbox and say, Getsy must go before I do because he can't coach an offense.
Oh, you're hanging the offensive coordinator out to dry? Isn't your offensive coordinator your pick?
Does the offensive coordinator put the food on my table? No. No. Getsy is Gonzi. Eberflus has himself a scapegoat, and he's going to use it.
All right, fair enough. All right, Hetty, what do you got?
Goes first.
All right, Luke, what do you think?
Look, I can't speak to the situation other than what I know, and I see 7-22, and currently holds the top 2 of the top 5 draft picks. I start over. Start with everything clean. I don't let this guy carry on with a 7-22 record, and I don't let anybody else follow him into that. Bye.
Just look at him. He looks like a fucking weasel. He looks like a fucking weasel.
It looks like he trusted a fart and it went wrong. He's just like, oh no.
It was a shark.
No. Reg, what do you got? Eberflus, in or out?
Yeah, he's probably got to go, right? Like you got Justin Fields who, you know, you can question his quarterback ability, but like he's an athlete. You've got DJ Moore that came over from Carolina, and I think that's where they got one of their draft picks from in that trade. Mm-hmm. You know, they've got a half decent offense, and like Rob said, maybe this is the offensive coordinator, but I'm pretty sure it was 4 turnovers against the Vikings, and I think they got 3 points out of it. It's terrible. So I don't know what you're doing wrong to not be able to actually put points on the board, especially when you have, you know, a couple like Khalil Herbert, like they've got a good offense, like they got the weapons and stuff like that. So either you're blaming the offensive coordinator or you're blaming the coach. And to me, I think the whole trickle down blaming, you know, offensive coordinators and stuff like that isn't the right thing. It's the coach. He's the person that should be his head should be on the line. So I'd probably get him out. 7-22. Come on now.
Yeah, he's done. Also, next year, Justin Fields isn't starting in Chicago.
There you go.
No,
he's out. He's out
in that game.
I mean, Justin Fields. I've never been a fan of.
There?
I've never been a fan of Justin Fields. He had a couple good games. He had a good little stretch there. I think it was last year where he was really showing off his athletic ability and all that kind of stuff. And he looked good.
The end of the season,
but
right?
Yeah, but that's all it is. It's these flashes, right? There's nothing consistent. He's not going to be the starting quarterback in Chicago, and I don't know if he'll start somewhere else. Like I don't know. There's a couple of teams that we're looking at. You know, we're talking about quarterback or teams right now with these coaches, and a lot of them, the consistency is that it's shitty quarterback play. It usually starts at shitty quarterback play, really, when you think about it. And once you get that solidified player, unless you're the 49ers where you build it around fucking Jimmy Garoppolo and he's terrible, but you have a great team that just carries him around all day. Anyway, going off on a rant. But yeah, no, Eberflus is out. He's out as far as I'm concerned.
Peace. Yeah, I guess we still won, even though 3-3 at the half. I thought, like, why not try something crazy and put your backup in, who gave you some success, but they got lucky.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah, absolutely. Try something new, right? But they're committed to Fields, unfortunately. So
yeah, well, Fields was like 12 for 12 to start that game, right?
Yeah.
Something crazy. Like he wasn't missing anything, but they just couldn't score. It's just like
he played well and they couldn't. Yeah, it wasn't his fault. It was probably like, he just didn't seem to complete. You know, he makes some big plays. Anyways.
And then he nearly blew it at the end, right? Like he had 2 fumbles right at the end. So
yeah, he's
Todd Bowles, Tampa Bay. Tom Bowles is in Tampa Bay, 12-16, took over the team after who retired. Does Tampa Bay have an identity? Do they have an identity? Are they a team? Are you in or out, Reg? What do you got?
I think Todd Bowles can stick around. I think if this is, again, back to your point on the last thing with shitty quarterback play. you know who left, and then you've got Baker and who'd they have last year, or was he there last year? Was Brady there?
Baker,
last
no,
year?
big, no,
No, that was two.
no.
No, it was like I don't even know who it was.
Last year
James
wasn't.
Winston or something.
No, Winston. I thought Winston.
Jameis was already gone to the Saints.
Yeah,
he's already gone to the Saints.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Either way,
I'm taking
yeah, like they're a good team. Like defensively, they're playing pretty good. Offensively, they can't really get much going. I really think they have a good running game. They've got Mike Evans. They got Godwin. They've got everything there again. But you got Baker Mayfield, who seems to not be able to win games. He's kind of got like the Dak Prescott of important games. Like Dak Prescott, when it's an important game, cannot win. And Baker Mayfield just can't win games. So he's like the opposite of that. All I do is win. Ooh, what the hell was that guy's name?
He gives you hope though when you watch him. Like I would love to talk to a Tampa Bay fan and just be like, do you actually like him?
Yeah, I mean, we know one.
Yeah. He looks.
I like talking to him. Go ahead.
I'm curious.
He's got the energy, right? Like Baker, he looks like he's into it, and he looks like he's gonna make it happen.
He's gonna fight. He's gonna fight. He's gonna do all those things.
Yeah, he looks like
he's such a shit show when he like scrambles and throws it, just fucking whips the ball like an idiot. Like
it looks awkward, but it looks like he looks like he runs hard.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's a competitor. I just think he's an ass. Rob, what do you think?
I like Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans is an amazing receiver.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The team should be better than they are. The record stinks.
I
think the team lacks motivation. You know, there's some poor coaching. Have players checked out? If players have checked out, it's time for the coach to go.
Yeah, motivation. Yeah,
there's something wrong there, and you need to figure it out. And I think you have to start with Todd Bowles.
Okay, so Rob is he's out on Todd Bowles. Got to go. All right, Luke, what do you think?
Just really quick. You know what? I feel like if someone is available that they feel they can upgrade, they're going to go ahead with it. I actually think,
yeah. It's a lot of coordinators that are taking shots on right now.
Yeah,
it's like what if someone like out of left field, like what if a Jim Harbaugh is now actually in because they're going to be clear in Michigan or whatever that's going on, or he's going to be, you know what I mean? Like a guy like that just randomly shows up now.
Yeah. Well, the rumor
possible. On the other hand, he could stay.
The rumor right now has something to do with one of the other coaches on our list, and we'll get to him in a minute. That there might be there's talk of possible trade to get him down there. So let's keep moving. Sean McDermott. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Brady was there last year.
Oh, was he? Was it last year?
Yeah,
that's right. He was. Yeah,
lost
that's right.
Because he retired and unretired, and then they lost to the Cowboys in the divisional or whatever. Yeah. And he threw the ball 66 times. I'm just looking at the stats right now. 35 for 66 and still lost to Dak Prescott. So
Jesus. All right. So I put Sean McDermott on this list, and I actually picked this picture on purpose because I threw up a little bit of a timeout. So here's my take on the Bills. I'm gonna go first on this one. The Bills have a stacked roster. There's expectations in Buffalo. The problem is that they are not performing to their level. And a lot of people were talking at the beginning of the season that it was Super Bowl, at least a Super Bowl appearance or bust for this Bills team. And right now, I'm worried about whether or not they make the playoffs. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, McDermott's out. Okay. Doesn't matter about offensive coordinators. You can't hide behind that firing anymore. If they don't make the playoffs, he's out. If they don't go deep into the playoffs, there's risk that he's gone too. That's my take. I think that McDermott's out. I like McDermott too, by the way.
I have McDermott similar to what you're saying, Rick. Right now I have him staying, but he needs to finish strong and he needs to start strong next year. If he doesn't do both of those, he'll be gone by this time next season.
Mid-season firing. All right, Luke, what do you got?
He's got to finish strong and start strong.
Yeah.
I think you guys hit it all on the head. You know, I feel like he. I look at him like Nick Sirianni could be in the same, shoes if like that, or 2 years in a row where the
Yeah, like if
expectations
the
lower.
Eagles had a shitty season next year, would we be talking about Sirianni, or even Kyle Shanahan? Like next year,
Maybe-
if either one of them had a shitty year
maybe a
next
year or two. Yeah. You got to progress, right? Like to your point, it's an all-star team, and you can't get worse. You shouldn't get worse. Like say Josh Allen going out for the year, something like that.
Yeah.
I think he had to act, and the offensive coordinator firing perhaps is one of your go-to moves. And I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, fired for sure.
Yeah.
All day. Buffalo will demand it. You couldn't put up with that, man.
Well, I said this 2 weeks ago when they went to play Denver that they needed to beat Denver because their remaining schedule had the Eagles, the Chiefs, Cowboys, I believe.
Yeah, probably.
I think they
yeah.
got
So
a
their
Bulls game.
last 5 games, we got Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers, and Dolphins are their last games. So Chargers, Patriots, they probably pick up those wins, but Chiefs, Cowboys, Dolphins, those are tough games for them to win.
Yeah, tough stuff.
All of a sudden, you're a 8-9 team, if I was to guess. So
yeah, but if the team that we saw against the Eagles and the same team that we saw against the Jets, like if they're that team, then they can play with all of these guys. And they just have to make it in. They just have to get their foot in the door, right?
I agree.
Everybody's 0-0 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The problem is that a real team or a fake team right now? Like who are we looking at right now?
Yeah. So the other thing is like Josh Allen didn't play great, right? Josh Allen, like Sean McDermott didn't throw 13 interceptions this season, right? He's the most turnover happy quarterback other than, I don't know, Bryce Young. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure Josh Allen's thrown the most ints this year. So
I can get that for you.
You know.
Yeah, but if you look at the Eagles game specifically, Josh Allen was one of the reasons why they were in it.
Oh,
because
for
not
sure.
only did he throw for 340 yards, he also ran for 81 yards. Right.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
I guess all I was saying is like he's the first 6 games of the season or the first 9 games of the season, he was looking like Jameis Winston 30 for 30. You know, he's gonna throw 30 TDs and pick up 30 interceptions. But that's the beautiful thing about Josh Allen though, is he can just win games. He's amazing. So
I mean, not a lot of times players get fired though. So
yeah, no, exactly.
right. So it's who's getting fired, the player or the coach?
Yeah. So
sounds good.
You went invisible mode.
Yeah, I know. My everything fell apart on me here. Here, let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're better. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. So we'll see. You know, the jury's out on McDermott for sure.
Well, yeah, you're right, Reg. Reg is right. Allen's tied with Howell for the most ends at 13.
Oh, there you
yeah.
go.
So
Curious about that.
yeah, I mean, but like what we've said, they've got all the stars, they've got the team, right? But coaching can only take you so far. The players got to play to their level, and that could be the coach's fault, not getting them to play to their expected ability. But yeah, for sure. Okay, this is my number one, numero uno on my list of coaches that gotta fucking go. Brandon Staley in Los Angeles, the Chargers.
Shit.
We'll go around the list. We'll give it to Rob first. You want to start off and give us your take on this one?
It's the NFL. Injuries happen. You have to find a way to win while you're injured. Putting these losses on the injuries isn't gonna cut it. This is the big boy league. Everybody's hurt. So I agree with you. Brandon Staley's gone, and I don't see him holding on. This is almost a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, Brandon Staley's got to go. Reg, what do you think?
Yeah, if you're a defensive coach and you've got the worst defense, well, almost the worst defense in the league, not great. And, you know, some people would say that some people aren't big on Herbert. I think Herbert's great.
Me too.
And, you know, if you can't pull those wins out, you have the offense. You definitely have the offense, right? Like you've got Eckler, you've got Keenan Allen. Sure, Williams went down, like Rob said, but like you've got the offense. What are you doing wrong? It's
Yeah.
defense. And if you're a defensive minded coach and you cannot play defense in the league, you might as well go. Get out
Yep,
of here.
for sure.
So
Yep. Luke, what do you think, sir?
Got 500 record, 0-1 in the playoffs. I mean, you don't want to waste Herbert. Personally, I think he stays another year, but yeah, hot seat for sure. You know,
Yeah.
I think they should have challenged for first place in that division a little bit better this year. Maybe not for first, but maybe give the Chiefs something to think about. You know,
They should have been top on the wild card list for sure. Like, even if they're
Yeah.
not top in the Chiefs, they should be at least like they should be pounding the shit out of teams so they are number
They should
one
have a
wild
winning
card.
record.
Yeah, like they should be looking at
Exactly,
playing the right now. They should be playing like the bottom of the AFC leaders for the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's
7
who
and
this-
4.
Yeah, like they should be pounding teams, and they're just not, and so they got to go. He's got to go.
Yeah.
they're the bottom of their division. They're behind the
Oh,
Raiders and the
jeez.
Broncos.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Imagine we had this conversation at week
I like this
2 or
one.
3. Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to
You and I
you.
talked about this one, didn't we, Luke?
I'm gonna give this one to you first, Luke. Bill Belichick, is he on the hot seat in New England? Remember I talked about Tampa Bay? There's currently some rumors out of Tampa Bay that Bill might find his way down south. So following old Tommy there. But anyway, real quick, one playoff game, I call it AT after Tom. 27-34-0 AT and one winning season AT after Tom. So Luke, unload. It's all you, buddy.
I think my man's 71 years old, and I know my dad, who's 71, is well and happy and retired. These guys are workaholics; they're professionals. But how well he can adapt to change. I mean, he had the best quarterback ever for like 20 years. How do you walk away from that and still do good? I don't, maybe it's time for Bill to change. There's no way they fire him in this. No way. There's no way they fire him in the season. In fact, to fire Bill Belichick, it might be hard to do. It might have to be an agreement for him to leave.
I think
They might allow him to
Things aren't
walk.
working out well.
They might let him walk.
That's right.
You
I
can either
think-
walk
Yeah,
or we'll
leave.
fire you.
Severance.
I don't think I think Luke and I talked about this a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and it was Belichick is when Belichick's done, Belichick decides he's done.
Yeah, but there's no way
he's done
Kraft is
everything
going to
but-
let him. There's no way they're going to let him just sit there and rot this team away. There's no way.
I don't think
I mean,
Belichick's
yeah,
gonna
you got
sit there and
shareholders
rot
and
the
shit
away
too,
either.
right? You got to win games.
You know, he's
but like,
but it's Bill Belichick. He's still an extremely prideful guy that doesn't like to lose. And yeah, one playoff game after Tom, like Luke said, it's Tom freaking Brady, right? If he's not
he's
the
still
best,
built around.
he's arguably the
Every
best.
time Brady won, he had a weird team, right? Like Brady was so good, but he still had a different team every time he won. It was like they had something different going for them. You know what I mean? Like Randy Moss, he had two incredible tight ends. Another year, they had like Corey Dillon and one of the best defenses they had in the early 2000s. And Belichick's really built a lot of really cool teams
Mike-
all around.
Mike
town.
goes when Vrabel leaves the Titans, Bill will step down.
There you go.
apparently, Vrabel is number one on Kraft's list right now. Vrabel's number one. So either way,
there you
Reg, in or out,
Well-
Bill Belichick.
Well, I think they might even keep him for another year. The funny thing is Bill Belichick is like a defensive mind, right? And defensively, the Patriots have played excellent even after Tom. Like, have they been a bad defensive team? They haven't. So obviously something needs to change on the offense, and
Yeah,
shitty
he doesn't get-
quarterback play.
He doesn't get to stick around as the defensive coordinator though. Unfortunately,
No,
so.
no. Well, he's,
he's going to be held
I don't
accountable
think
for
they
the.
even have
He's
a
the
defensive
GM.
coordinator. Because
Well, he's the
doesn't he just
GM.
call
Oh,
the
yeah.
defensive plays, and they have a defensive assistant or something like that. Like,
Probably.
I don't even think they have
Patricia's
a
not
defensive-
even a defensive assistant anymore. I think he's just an advisor.
Yeah, so
I don't even. But
I mean, Bill could get the
Yeah,
old
I
boys
mean-
back together again. He got McDaniels and Patricia.
Yeah, that's all he does is he brings back his.
They could go to like
shitty
Vegas
old,
and run the
his
Raiders.
shitty old coordinators.
Yeah,
Yeah, they all know they can come back. Yeah,
Like, I
Billy-
think
Billy-
maybe
the
they're just-
Raiders.
trapped in the Tom Brady era, because is their offense still running the same as it did with Brady? Like, obviously it's not successful, but like Are they running the same scheme as they did when they had Brady,
It
and they're just
seems
expecting
like they
Mac
do.
Jones to
I don't feel like I
fill
watched the
those
games.
shoes?
I don't feel like I watched the games close enough, but I do feel like they run a similar. They like their tight ends. They,
Run
running
the
backs out of the
ball,
backfield,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Those short little,
But
so
you're taking
I,
the ball out of Mac's hands. That's
yeah,
that, you know what I
you
mean.
need to take it out of his hands. Yeah.
That's
And
not
fast.
Yeah,
that's not an offense that's hurting you. That's a good offense. You know, that's you're not really playing.
Yeah, but
It-
that
it-
offense won
asking
7.
that question to me, whereas are they still doing Tom? Are they still playing like they did with Tom Brady? It's not like, are they still playing like they did when they played with, let's say, Michael Vick or something? Tom Brady played a pretty safe game. They played a relatively safe game with Tom. So it's
Really, you think so?
I think
that's
they played a lot of.
I think
dink
that's a
and
take
dunking.
for another day because I don't think that Brady ever played safe.
I think they
I
played. a
think
lot
Brady
of dink and
fucking
dunk.
threw balls wherever he wanted.
He threw.
I
Brady
think
was for
he
sure
just threw in
given
the air to
the
Randy
green
Moss.
light. For sure, given the green light. But
Yeah.
like you said, he played off his tight ends. He played off of a lot of backfield play, and Tom Brady wasn't the guy that's going to sit back there and throw it 50 yards downfield, a bunch of times a game. Sure, he'd throw it 30 yards down the seam because that was always open because you had Gronk there. I mean, but
and you know who was always on the other side.
yeah, Hernandez was always hanging out over there. So
Well, not always. First couple of
Yeah.
years, anyway.
Yeah, bro, when he was good.
Yeah, until he killed people.
Yeah. Anyways, my point was it's just like if you're
Right,
running
right.
the same offensive scheme and you don't have Tom Brady, well, maybe you need to move on from that and try something different. Like because they had because Cam was there for a bit, right? And
Yeah.
even when they had Cam, it didn't feel like they had changed it up that much.
They wanted to. They said they wanted to adapt to Cam, and they still tried to play a similar game. Cam tried to play his game; it didn't work. Cam went bye bye.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what Reg is saying, and I think I agree, is that it might be an opportunity to just stop doing it the Patriot way, stop doing it the way you won Super Bowls for the last 20 years. It might be an opportunity to start things new, because unless you draft somebody who plays the game like Tom Brady, you're just not going to get that anymore.
Yeah,
right?
Get one of these RPO quarterbacks in here, start doing all this motion and shit, and like do that kind of
Tom
thing.
Brady
And then you
played
have
a really tough game though, or was it system or was it Brady?
Oh, it was Brady. Like we could sit here, we could have this debate debate all
Brady's
day long.
the greatest.
Brady was the
quarterback of all time.
greatest player that ever played the game.
100%.
There's no
There's
doubt
no
in my
question.
mind.
Yeah.
I hate every part of it. I hate saying it. I hate everything about it because Joe Montana, all this kind of stuff. But there's no doubt in my mind watching Tom Brady
People have
play.
been saying Joe for years now.
Yeah, like
What I'm trying to say is that offense difficult? Are we sitting here and saying that you need to get
Mac
away
Jones
from that
can't do it.
offense? Well, that's fine. Mac Jones can't do it, but is it more because Mac Jones can't play a quarterback in the NFL?
Well, I guess the other piece of evidence I would have is that Tom Brady went to another team and won a fucking Super Bowl. So I don't like it. That tells me that Tom Brady was doing something right.
Yeah.
Right. Like he was able to go there the year after going there. He won a Super Bowl. Actually, the year that he went there, I think he went like 12-4 or something.
They were
stupid
pretty.
like that.
Yeah, they played
Like-
well.
They were
And
well.
the season
Yeah.
that they won the Super Bowl, I feel like they had a worse record going into the
So
playoffs.
is the
I think they
offense
did too.
hard though? That's
Yeah, I
Well,
think.
yeah, I think it
probably
was
is a hard
complex. I think
offense.
it was complex. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
for
trying
sure.
to say.
Yeah, and I
I
think
want to
Mac
say,
Jones
like, when they
isn't
played
cut
the
out to
Eagles,
do
and
it.
this is way back in week 1, they lost like 20 to, was it 20? I can't remember, 25, 20? Yeah. And this is week 1, but the turnovers, they couldn't capitalize on the turnovers the Eagles were making, but they should have won that game. They should have won that game. And that probably fucked their season right there. And for some reason, it was like it derailed them. They were doing everything right that game. And I just remember, like, I was like, there's no way it's this hard to score on these guys. And to your point, this is back in week 1, right? Like, I feel like that's just been their story all along. They just can't make it work. Mac Jones, whatever it is, there's something going on with that. They can't run it. They can't throw it. Time to set up something new, boys. Like,
Yeah, for me to just
Bill,
close it up, I think
you're 71.
to answer your question, Yeah. To answer your question, Rob, I think the offense was complex. I think that means I think Bill had every involvement in it. Yes. I don't think McDaniels had as much involvement as we want to give him credit for, but the reality was that he was still dealing. He could make it as complex or as easy as he wanted. The reality was the guy that was dishing the ball was by far the greatest player that ever played the game. That's it. And that's my take on it. And I think that it's time for Bill to go away. So anyway,
retire.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
No, that's good.
All right, we beat that one. All right, week 13 preview. Here we go. So all four of us back in the ring here. I sent out the picture to everybody to take a look at, see what they've got. I myself didn't look at it, so I'm not even sure where we're going with this. But we'll start with game one, the Thursday game. We got Seattle at Dallas. We went Dallas across the board here, lads. Anybody got anything crazy they want to talk about here? Rob? Nope. Reg?
Seattle kind of stinks. Dallas should win this,
Yeah. Luke, you got anything?
Yeah, I think Seattle they made a couple of plays in the middle of the year, a couple games where they looked better than they were, and they got fully exposed a couple times.
Yeah. Like I feel like Seattle was like they had a glimmer of hope, and it was like, oh, okay, they'll come in, get a wild card behind the Niners and stuff like that, and it's just like, they're just flat. They're just falling flat. So.
Yeah, they really are. Okay. All right. So on to our parlays real quick, so that we don't get stuck on these too long. Reg, your parlay lineup. You went with a 5-legger here.
Yeah. So Brandon Cooks has been getting more action. Basically, I think the last 4 games he's been 2 of the last 3 he's been over 50 and over the receptions. Gonna go with him an anytime touchdown. Dak 4 of the last 5 games has been over 300 yards and over 2 passing touchdowns. So rolling with that. Seattle stinks. Hopefully, hopefully Reg backers get something here,
Yeah. I'm gonna put in the bet for each one of you guys this week on your parlays that you picked, just to see. I'm gonna start riding with your parlays just for fun. All right, Rob, you're up.
Took a little 3-banger here. Dak Prescott under 12.5 rushing yards. I don't expect him to have to run a whole lot. I don't expect him to run a whole lot if the options are there. I'm taking the Seahawks with the spread +9. I would have liked to see this +9.5 or even +10 actually, but if you could buy it at +10, get it at +10 for sure.
Yep.
I would definitely buy that point. And then Michael Gallup over 16.5 receiving yards. Michael Gallup's a burner. He's a guy that can blow the top off. 1 reception gets this.
Yep. I agree.
So just a little one. I do think that if Seattle starts strong, they can keep this game a lot closer than we expect it to be.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we talked about how Dallas has beat up on shitty teams and struggled with good teams. So we'll see how it turns out. It might be a good measuring stick for Seattle, really, right? The Dak Prescott 12.5 rushing yards. If he runs more than that, that means that he's Bobby Wagner somewhere around the area. He probably wants to stay the hell away from him. He might kill him. So I took a 4-legger here. I went with the biggest betting line. So I took the over on the total score, the 47.5. I think that the Cowboys will probably put up 35 of those. So I just need Seattle to show up for a little bit. Total turnovers was over 2.5. I went defense, which is what I've been trying to do as much as possible with these. So I've got Dallas defense or special teams with an anytime touchdown. It really didn't get me as much as I wanted because of what's his name?
Deron Bland getting all
Deron Bland. Yeah. Did you know it was only a +300 on the defense on the Dallas defense to score a touchdown?
That's crazy.
Only a +300. That's crazy. Either way, I got Geno Smith for over 0.5 interceptions thrown. So I'm looking for a int here. And that would be our parlay. All right. On to the picks. First up to bat, or second up to bat, I guess. Miami in town visiting Washington. No surprise here. Probably we took Miami across the board. Lads, you got anything you want to talk about here?
It's 4-0.
Well, yeah,
I-
yeah,
I think we all agree Miami's going to win.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. Next up to bat. This is
What?
amazing. Reg.
It just
Okay, so
Did you make
Boom.
a boo boo here?
take that. Were
Well,
you talking
it's
to
a
Mike
coin-
this week or what?
I was just trying to get Mike to come on the show, you
I
know?
wanna stop and talk about this for a while here.
It's a coin flip game, and Reg took a lock and ended up on the bad side of the coin
Yeah.
flip.
I always take locks on these
Did you coin
kind
flip
of
and pick
games.
the game to coin flip?
All right, are you ready for this?
Ready?
Tennessee's perfect at home. They're going to continue that perfect record at home.
Shut the fuck. Are they actually?
Yeah, because they played overseas. So we're not counting the overseas loss to Baltimore when it was their home game. They're 4-0 at home. Indianapolis has looked okay the last 2 weeks, right? They had that Patriots game overseas, and then they had a nail biter with the Bucks, where I believe Baker almost brought it back. So I'm going to get behind Derrick Henry and Will Levis running that
You
ball.
were off the Will Levis train.
I am off the Will Levis, but mostly Will Levis handing the ball off to Derrick Henry and playing
Gotcha.
some smash mouth. Jonathan Taylor is out for probably the rest of the season at this point. Zach Moss is obviously a good fill in there for the Colts, but I think it's going to be a close game, and Tennessee hasn't lost at home, so I'm locking it in, baby.
Just because Reg just said that, I'm gonna go bet on a Tennessee fumble, a fumble loss. I'm looking for an exchange on the handoff for Will Levis to fumble the ball when he hands it off to Derrick
Fumble
Henry.
Derrick Henry to fumble the exchange.
yeah, exactly. Okay,
mean, to be
battle in the
devil's
South
advocate-
here.
Wait, does
Like
does
they
anyone
haven't
want to
even
argue the
beat a
Indy?
divisional team yet. Indy, like
Oh, there you go.
Tennessee hasn't beat a divisional team yet, and Indy's good.
That's true.
Yeah,
Um,
he's coming at you shooting now.
the
Reg.
whole
What
like
do you got?
the whole
Defend
like
us.
losing at home shit. I don't buy that one bit yet. Like, come on, you even said it. They were overseas. They got nothing to. You can't use that.
So something to consider with that Indianapolis game or the Jonathan Taylor, he's not designated to go to the IR. He's out 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's out
Sure,
this
but
game.
we're talking
Well,
about.
it doesn't
Zach
matter
Moss,
in
right?
this game. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
but he's
could
not done
matter.
for the season.
I think
I like the pick,
Minshew
though.
Mania is
It's a
going to
ballsy
happen.
pick.
He's going
I
to
like
throw
it.
some interceptions. You know,
Minshew Mania.
Vrabel will just run the ball, and it's going to be one of these, 17-13 kind of games, and Tennessee's going to come out. We'll see. We'll see.
I was really happy about this one. You weren't here when we did the comparison on the pick'ems. I'm only down 2. This means I'm only down 1 starting off the early morning
Yeah,
on
well, we'll
or the
remember
early
this
day on
one.
Sunday. Yeah, we will.
This one.
Yeah, we will. Oops, I went too far. Okay,
I don't
Carolina.
think he did.
Yeah, I know. Carolina, Tampa, the NFC South. We
Four
love
all.
to talk about the NFC South. 4 across the
Yeah, it's
board.
weird.
Anything? Yeah, it's the NFC South. I mean, we
I feel
took
like
Tampa.
Baker's
They're the
hurt
stronger
right now,
team.
but he's not out. But he's on the Baker's on the cusp right now for playing this game. To be honest, that's one thing I found out a little later.
Oh yeah, yeah.
don't-
Well, either way, I still think
know.
Carolina's the worst team in the league. So the firing of Frank Reich, maybe get them going, but they fired basically all of their offensive coaching staff. So we'll be lucky if they gain like 20 yards on Sunday.
Yeah,
Atlanta visiting the
Pretty
New
bad.
York Jets. Rick.
Oh, now it's 2, Rick.
Well, I'm
I
just
think it's a good
saying.
pick, to be honest.
I'm
They give
see?
Philly a loss.
I'm just saying.
they're
the Jets.
streaky. They're streaky.
You know what? I need them to hold. Okay, so in case you didn't know, they activated Aaron Rodgers' practice window today. His 21-day practice window.
Sure.
So he is on pace. He's looking to come back. So the Jets, they're going to play inspired football this week. Okay, because they
Boyle.
know. I'm just saying they know that if they hold down the fort until A-Rod gets in there, they got a chance, right? So they just got to
Yeah.
hold it down.
They've scored 1 offensive touchdown in like 4 games.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
And Atlanta stinks too. Like they are
They
a
do.
bad,
They're NFC
bad
South.
team.
They're terrible.
They
Yeah.
are a bad team.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
But the Jets cannot score. So, yeah.
Well, we're even at this point, so I'm pretty sure that I pick up the win on this one too. And yeah,
and we're even.
And
You
we're
might as well just
even.
pick all the 12-point pick'ems and just throw it in there. You'll be rich. Put $10 on it.
We went 4 across the board on the next one. Arizona visiting Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh on the upswing. Arizona sucks. But Luke went in with the lock here on Pittsburgh. So let's hear your take here, bud.
It's not good. They're horrible, to be honest. Like that's
Yeah.
what it. You know, it's something I want to. I was thinking about it today. Like, there's a couple of veteran coaches in the league that we don't talk about, and I can. And Mike Tomlin, like, has been around a long time. I'd like to guess 15 years, maybe more, 20. I feel like he's like almost my age, and I think who can adapt and change, unlike Belichick, who may be beyond that. I feel like Tomlin has another round left in him, and Sean Payton is another one who's rejuvenated his career.
Yeah,
you know, with 5 wins in a row, he's pretty much saved. Well, for now, what they've done, and I feel like Tomlin is slowly playing along to the strengths of this team and adapting.
Yeah,
and
the players love him. The players love him.
Like it. Yeah.
But okay, so here's my
head coach since 2007, by the way. So 15 years, like you said.
Is that what? Yeah.
Here's my hot take question for all of you. Did everybody see Deontay Johnson give up on that play?
Yeah, and Tomlin.
And they talked to him.
This is what it's saying.
Yeah, they basically said.
I'm in group chat.
Yeah, so Tomlin basically said, you know, I'm not going to hold him accountable. The team's going to hold him accountable, right? So, so I mean, that was some bullshit, right? I get you're pissed off at the previous play. You got, you know, ruled against the touchdown, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, hopefully the team will do some street justice and take care of that one, so we don't deal with that kind of shit anymore.
One thing to add to Pittsburgh, since the whole Mad Canada, this is their first 400-yard game in 59 games. So offensively, it's
blame Canada.
So Deontay Johnson play absolute bullshit. Even from the age of 5, you're told to play till the end of the whistle. So inexcusable. Quit being a crybaby. Play the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, how much money?
I feel like the team will fix them. I feel like they had a chat. And
I feel like you have a little behind doors conversation about that one. You sort that one out.
Smarten your shit up, kid. This is the big league. Like,
so here's my question.
With the program.
Yeah.
Who has that conversation with him? TJ Watt?
Like on the offense.
Who's the veteran presence on that team?
Someone on the
offensively.
Yeah.
Freiermuth?
No, what's his face on the defensive line? I can't think. Hayward. It's Hayward.
Oh, Cameron Hayward?
Yeah, Cam
You
Hayward.
think it's Cam Hayward?
Yeah, he puts him. Yeah, he just walks him into the in the showers and says, "Look at you, little shit."
Yeah,
you fucking.
You fucking. I was thinking to myself, who is the guy?
Yo, look at this.
Does he drop the little alligator in there too? Like, and he
his towel falls off as he's walking in.
Okay.
Right?
So, anyways, on the Detroit, New Orleans.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Detroit, New Orleans. All right. Detroit for 3 of us. Luke, you got some explaining to do, bud.
Yep. Yeah, this was my my weird pick for the week. No offense, Robbie. I think Detroit has nothing to worry about right now. I think they're on cruise control, even though they lost. And I feel like New Orleans has a lot more to lose right now. I'd be interested to see a real coach with Derek, if they could actually make him play a little more solid game. I know a lot of the receivers are out. They're at home. I just feel like this is a do or die game for them. So I went with it.
Yeah. Not a bad take,
it's
actually.
Probably more right to go with Detroit, but you know, I just feel like New Orleans, and they also have the only like over 500 scoring record in that division. So they actually do have. However, they're riddled with injuries right now, so it might hurt them too. Because Detroit, you got to keep up with Detroit when they score, man. That's the only reason people beat them. They out, which is hard.
Yeah. You got a rebuttal, Rob?
No, there's. You know what? Detroit lost. Anytime you play a certain team, there's probably a couple that come up on your schedule every year, and I don't want to go back to last week, But even that Green Bay game is one of them games where you sit there and go, yeah, we can lose this game. One of them ones you're worried about. And that was one of the ones I'm not worried about this one. I think Detroit comes in and restores the roar again. And Motor City Dan Campbell pounds the rock.
I almost went with New Orleans.
MCDC.
You should. You're kind of hoping for your stinking Vikings to get into the playoffs. So,
I mean, whatever. The Vikings deserve to
Extra
lose the game
stinking
against
now.
the Bears. Yeah, whatever. That is what it is.
now
But
Reggie's
hey,
playing to win.
JJ's been
picks.
activated, so makes difference.
All right, we had a 4-banger on the Chargers against New England. We already talked about how New England stinks right now. New England is at home. I took the Chargers as my lock, even though Brandon Staley is, I feel, on the way out. I think that the Chargers, Justin Herbert, find a way to win this game. Even if it's ugly, I think that even an ugly game, they win this one. So
I think
Not
it's
too
an ugly
worried about
game
that
too.
yeah, but I think the win is still there. Denver at Houston. This one surprised me that we went across the board on Houston. I don't know if it was because it was a home game. Denver's on a little bit of a hot streak right now. This could have been a coin flip for a lot of people. I've rode the Houston train here for a little while, so I'm going to stay with it. But I'd like to hear anybody else why you picked Houston over Denver here.
Houston's a probably
wagon.
number 5 team in the AFC.
Yeah, they're a bit
Number
of a
5?
wagon.
I'm still not sold on Denver. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm really not sold on Denver. Russ has been playing out of his mind if you look at his numbers, though. But Houston has looked amazing, and I think the Jags are a pretty good team. And Houston very well could have won that game last week. So, and they've been rolling. So, and they're at home and stuff like that. Though I think I heard something about Houston not selling out against the Jags, which is crazy.
That's weird,
right?
Yeah.
Put it this way: if I knew that this could have been a game where I could have gained a potential win, I would have easily picked Denver.
Oh, see,
I think this is a close game.
Yeah,
and I think this
too.
is one of them
Fucking
ones
deep.
looking at it where I'm sitting here going, shit, I kind of wish I would have taken Denver because this, I think, is a game that they can easily win.
Yeah. I think Denver can win this game. Like I said, I'm riding with Houston. What do you think, Luke?
You know what? I almost texted you my picks back, but then I looked what everybody picked. Be that guy. My heart said Denver all day, and if I've ever learned anything in life, that's not always the best way to go. And my head just tells me that Houston has better. Although Sean Payton, veteran quarterback, Russell Wilson, and they have 5 wins in a row. I mean, those are 3 simple sass, but like, I just CJ Stroud, man, that kid's impressive for a 19-year-old. And the ball hit the fucking crossbar the other day. Like they've had they're doing a lot better than expected. And I honestly think like this is their home turf, and I do believe in home games in certain places. Denver's one of them, and I think Houston's another. But I didn't know they're So, I don't know. My head said take them.
That's fair. Is this a measuring stick game for Denver? If Denver wins this game, are they legitimate after this?
I think it's a game for both teams.
Fucking right.
Well, I think Houston's already established they can play ball. Like I think Houston.
Mike took Denver.
Yeah, Mike. But I think this is one of them games where, if you're saying Denver's using it as a measuring stick, I think Houston's in the same position where, you could easily say that this game, 4 out of 10 times Denver wins, or 5 out of 10 times Denver wins.
Yep.
This is definitely a ball security game, right? Like Denver's been all over the ball for the last 5-6 games, and as long as CJ can hold on to the ball, I think they'll be fine. And he's been pretty good at that all season long, right? He's 19 for 5.
The laughing stock of the league, like it's crazy.
Yeah, like they were at the beginning of the year, I was ready to write Denver off. I was done with them. Like they are the worst. Last year they were awful to watch. I just wanted to and they were on prime time so many times. It was like, oh
yeah.
But now that they're playing ball, I'm like, all right, well let's ride.
Yeah, I think
that's rad.
Yeah,
I think second game of this streak, I ran into a Broncos fan, and he said, "How about that Joshua Dobbs?" And I said, Yeah, he's pretty good. I said, it must suck to be a Denver fan, though. And he said, yeah, it's fucking rough. And now look at them. So,
Yeah, eating crow, man. Eating crow.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cleveland visiting LA. Rob went with a lone wolf here. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I don't feel like there was a one way or the other on this one. But Rob, what do you got for Cleveland? Tell me why I shouldn't start Matt Stafford. Oh,
Well,
he's in the middle of something.
Yeah,
he's in the
that's
middle
okay.
of something. We got you, Rob. We got you.
So, here is the deal with this one: is that I still believe in what's his name there? Defensive line.
DTR?
Miles
No.
Garrett.
Miles
Oh,
Garrett.
Miles Garrett. Okay.
Miles Garrett changes games. Again,
Yep.
you've got Donaldson on the other side, Aaron
Donald.
Donald on the other side.
Yeah.
This is kind of felt like another one of them games with Denver and Houston for me, where I think I would be okay if I took the Rams here and you guys all took Cleveland. This is one of them
Right,
games
yeah.
where I've got to
Yep.
win a game, and I'm okay
Yep.
with this. This is a perfect pick for me here, looking at
Yep.
this.
Yeah, you got to win one. Yeah, here you go.
I got to
Yeah.
steal it somewhere.
Yeah, I feel good about Stafford coming. He's building back up. He's getting out there. I think that I actually started him in my fantasy football team. I trust in him. I think he's got the weapons around him. I think that Cleveland does have a super strong defense. They are in LA, so I think that they can hold off here and get some stuff done. Either way, though, I do agree with Rob. This is probably more of a flip for me than anything. But I love the
Yeah, I
Rams.
mean, I looked at it and I thought, I want to go with the Browns, but after they dropped that game against, I guess it was Denver last week.
Yeah.
I think
they just didn't look the same, right? Like they don't.
Yeah, like they just don't feel like the Browns. That
They
we've
were
seen.
dominant. They were dominant at the beginning of the
Yeah.
year, and yeah, they were.
And yeah, I think the Rams offensively are like do it better than Denver does, if that makes sense. And like
Offensively, for sure.
Defensively, they're way worse than Denver. But offensively, like I think Stafford, if Cleveland's playing the way they played against Denver, I think Stafford and what's that guy's name, Kyron Williams, and if Cooper Kupp's playing, I don't know if Cooper Kupp's playing, but like I think they can.
Puka Nacua.
They can put up some points. 2-2, the whole thing.
Tutu
So,
Atu. Yep.
yeah, I wanted to go with Cleveland. This is kind of like
Yeah, it's funny is I think I did
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Like I think I
Yeah.
looked at it, I was like, oh, Cleveland. Then I was like, ooh. And I just stopped for a
Yeah.
second.
Heart
I'm
versus
like,
head.
nah.
Heart versus head.
I was like, I think I'll go with the Rams on this one. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Safe pick.
Kansas City in Green Bay. I fucking lone wolf this bitch. Hey yo. Rob was like,
Do it.
oh, we could change
Start
my
her
lock
up.
to something else. He was like, we could change something else because like I put Kansas City. I was like, no, you know what? I knew I was lone wolfing on this. I'm like, no, we're gonna hold it there. So here we are. I think
close,
Green
man.
Bay is on the.
I was close.
Yeah. Green Bay looks good. I don't think I think Kansas City, I think the Raiders showed that they at the beginning of that game, they didn't look all that good. Yes, Kansas City showed up, they did their thing, but Kansas City has also showed all year long that they can underperform. They underachieve in a game. And all it takes is going into Green Bay. I think I read a stat. I think Kansas City in their whole tenure has played in Green Bay 5 times. That's it. So we're getting into December now. We're looking at teams coming to Lambeau, and when you're talking about home field advantage, right? And I'm not talking about fans being involved. There's no other place like going to Lambeau, right? Like Lambeau's got something on you. It's old, it's crusty, it's all that kind of stuff, but it's Lambeau. And yeah, I just have a thing. They're either going to show up. Kansas City's either going to like smash the shit out of Green Bay here, or Green Bay comes away with this win. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I got.
I was looking up the Packers versus Chiefs all time kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Packers are 4-8-1 against the Chiefs all time. And in Lambeau, it seems like they've split the win. No, they're 1-3. It looks like something like that. I can't take Jordan Love against Patrick Mahomes. That's really what this comes down to.
Yeah, true that.
I mean, Jordan Love, he's looked okay in the last 2 weeks. Like they're
Yeah,
rolling and stuff like
much
that.
better than I was calling for his head earlier on.
Yeah, and they're rolling.
Yeah.
Kansas, Kansas City's defense is playing pretty good, though.
Yep.
Obviously, they had a bit of a hiccup against the Raiders at the start of the game last week.
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs bust a big run. I forget exactly what it was.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's hard to bet against the Chiefs, and that's really what it is. I know.
Well, we got to
they're
hear
in
from
Lambeau.
Rob
We
here.
know
He
it's
locked this
December.
one. Rob,
Yeah.
you got to speak up, man. You locked up this one.
Yeah, well, sorry, I jumped in halfway through the conversation. I jumped into the part where you were talking about how Lambeau Field and home field advantage. Like I said, I caught half of it. I don't know if it was you were talking about the potential weather or just the aura or both of Lambeau Field.
Essentially both. Yeah.
What I can say though is I've gotten away from the whole certain players playing, they're not used to playing in the weather and stuff like that. It's like you're professional football players, I think unless you were born in in California and you didn't travel outside of California or Florida, you've probably played in some weather. And but back to the point there, I think Kansas City's the better team, and Kansas City's just going to show that they're the better team again. Too early to rely on home field advantage weather-wise, I think, for Green Bay.
I disagree with the whole professional thing, and weather isn't that big of an impact. I think weather makes a huge difference in games, but
unless you're Jake Elliott.
What I
Unless
mean
you're
by
Jake
that
Elliott.
is what I'm saying is I don't think that players are afraid to play in weather. They're not afraid. It's cold, so it hurts more when you get hit and stuff like that.
You know what's
I don't think
funny?
that plays to it.
Yeah, completely kind of off topic, but on topic. One team that I think gets messed up weather-wise, usually, I think it's Miami. I feel like Miami gets fucked up when they go to the cold. I feel like.
Do you remember last year Miami and their side of the bench or whatever when they were tracking the
they look
thermometer?
They were the
ridiculous,
shade,
right?
right? They had the air seat. Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah,
Miami
dude,
had
so
Miami
greasy.
had everything. The away teams were like 130 degrees on their side.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's so greasy, man.
Like 90-degree, like AC benches.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
Sorry, that got off
yeah,
topic.
I think the heat and the cold makes a big difference for some players, but
I think the
You know what-
humidity does, but necessarily straight heat and cold. I think while they're playing, they play fine. But sure, on your downtime, you're freezing your bag off. Doesn't matter.
You know what I don't. Now that we're on the topic of weather, one weather climate that I don't think affects anything is just regular rain, like just non-monsoon, crazy rain,
Yeah.
just regular
Like
rain. I
drizzle,
think that
like a
when we go to
drizzle.
watch a game, or just like a regular rain, I think when you watch a rain game, you want it to be like sloppy and messy and in the trenches and all that kind of stuff. But I think at this part in their careers, I don't think that ever really.
yeah, I think
amounts
with
to anything.
rain comes wind, and if you have a lot of wind, that's where it gets impacted.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I think weather matters, and even stuff like Denver, right, Mile High, like that makes a big difference.
Oh
too,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cincinnati at Jacksonville. We went 4-banger across the board here with Jacksonville. Nothing really to see here. We talked about earlier how Cincinnati's on the downswing. And Jacksonville, Reg said that he felt like Jacksonville's pretty good. I'm not super convinced that Jacksonville. I think that Trevor Lawrence is actually struggling. I think the Niners kind of exposed what Trevor Lawrence is doing, and I think that I think he's not making the greatest decisions with the ball in his hand. However, we'll see where it goes here, but I think that Jacksonville does win this. And as you can see across the board, we all thought the same thing.
Yeah, I think.
Anyway.
The 49ers beat the hell out of him, but outside of that, I thought looked pretty good. No.
Well, they did a lot of talking there about how. Yeah, I don't know. About how
I like Trevor
They
Lawrence.
had a lot of
I
travel
think-
too.
I like Trevor Lawrence too.
Yeah.
I want him to like him.
I think when you look at all the quarterbacks across the NFL right now, and you put them up against I guess like a lineup, Trevor
Mhm.
Lawrence is your most, in my eyes, that is a quarterback. When you sit there 6'6", you know what I mean? He's got that long blonde hair. He just, hey, sunshine. That's a quarterback to me. And I think he plays like that.
Sunshine.
I
Yeah.
think
He can slang the rock and he can run, right? Which is
Yeah.
He would
which is
definitely
kinda
fit a
nice.
Lions jersey.
They might need him because Goff is terrible. Anyway, I'm losing my camera again. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Here it is.
Game of the week.
So we moved it to the end because it's obvious that we have a 49ers fan, we have an Eagles fan. And Luke and I had a quick discussion about it early on. We split it down the middle here just so that those who aren't watching, Reg went with the Eagles, Rob and I went with the Niners, and then Luke went with the Eagles. So 50-50 across the board. I think what we'll do is we'll let Rob and Reg speak their piece first, and then Luke and I, if we have anything to talk about. But we both decided that, we're friends first. This isn't about, him against me, that kind of thing. It's more about, we obviously have passion for both of our teams. So it's always going to be respectful between both of us. But we'll talk about it after Reg and Rob speak their piece. So Reg, go ahead.
No,
Okay, Rob. Yeah, Rob, you're up.
I think you guys are a pair of pansies for opening up with that. I would be like, my team is the best team. No, I think this would be a great game to sit in and watch both of you be a fly on the wall while this game is happening.
In the same room?
Yes, 100%.
No.
For me,
never
anyways,
happened.
it's going to be fun for me.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Two juggernauts going at it. We have seen in the past where Philadelphia's run game, if it sputters, they don't play well at all. And I think the 49ers, resurging defense, they've picked up a couple pieces. I said I needed to see the 49ers string a couple together, go out there and Denny Green the shit out of this and show us, let us know who you are. We know who you are. Show it to us now. I want to see them prove they're the best team in the NFL. And this is how they do it right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to talk on the resurgence, 15 sacks in the last 3 games. So,
you know what I mean? You're getting 5 sacks a game.
Yeah.
If you can't win games like that, come on.
Yeah. All right, Reg, what do you think?
This comes down to battle of the trenches, running the ball. I think Philly has to control the ball and keep that dynamic offense off the field of San Francisco, because Philadelphia is pretty bad against the pass. The Niners are number 2 against the run, I'm pretty sure. In the last 2 or 3 games, they've only allowed 81 yards in the last 3 games, 81 yards per game running. So Philadelphia has to really win that battle and continue to pound the rock, I think, to keep the Niners off the field. And the other thing about Philadelphia is they looked like they were out against the Bills. They looked like they were out against the Chiefs, but they keep winning games.
Yeah,
they keep doing it. And until they lose, I'm gonna ride with the Eagles. I know they lost one earlier, but they just seem to keep winning these games. And and it's not to say San Francisco, this is the 2 best teams in the NFC, without a doubt. This determines who the best team is in the NFC, and this is probably a preview of the NFC Championship. So, yeah.
Fair enough. You or me first, Luke?
You go. Your show.
Before we finish, I want to see if anyone would pick the MVP of the game as well.
Between us or all of us? Just
all of
Luke,
us. Just decide who we think is going to be the MVP or make the biggest play, a game-changing TSN moment or something.
Like one pick, like one person.
Yeah, just one guy and say real fast, I think this guy and he's going to do this or something.
I can't pick the tush push.
You can pick.
The brotherly shove.
Jesus, this was supposed to be fast.
Better. Well, I'll go with Jason Kelsey. Yeah, there you go. He's that's a good pick. All right. Well, Reg, who do you got? Fire.
Jalen Hurts with 2 rushing touchdowns.
Okay,
'Cause
Rob.
they're going to push him in.
Give me CMC. He's going to get the trio.
Yeah.
3
The
tutties,
trio.
baby.
3 tuds. Holy shit.
3
Luke,
tuds,
you want
and
to go
you're
first
going
on
to
this
see
one?
2 from Swift.
Yeah, Swift is good. For sure.
Swift's going to get 2 as well.
No, I gotta say you probably want to keep an eye on Devontae Smith. Everybody be covering AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll be waiting
if
for QB
the
sneaks and shit. Smith gets open.
I'm going to do a 2-fer here. If the Eagles wins, it's Jake Elliott. If the Niners win, Jair Brown is going to come up with a game-saving interception. If this game, like we said, we're not going to get into stats, but so it'd be really easy to talk about the NFC Championship game last year. The what ifs and all that shit, and I'm not going to do it because even if Brock Purdy played that game all the way through, there's nothing to say that the Niners would have won it. There's nothing that says that would have happened, that the outcome would have changed. So what I do, and I said this after it happened to Luke last year, actually, that I feel like NFL fans all around got ripped off for possibly what was going to be the greatest game of the year. And it sucked, right? So the NFL recognized that. They changed some rules to make sure that shit doesn't happen again. Okay. But I don't want this to be about a revenge game or we're coming back to prove to you. That's not what it is. We have 2 different teams. Shit. We have, one of their defensive linemen is starting on our defensive line this year, right? Like everything's different. It's a new game. It's week 13. It's not the NFC Championship game. It is the most important game of the season this year. I think this is a Deebo Samuel game. Watch for Deebo to do some damage here this week. And I think Brock's playing really well right now. So I'm really happy with where he's at. The defense is playing better, more consistent ball. They're tackling, which they weren't doing. They were trying to pop balls out to get turnovers. Don't like that Hufanga's out, but I like Jair Brown playing the free safeties. So I'm okay with that. So that's my take. Luke,
quick take. I went and looked. I found some stats for Philly versus the Niners, and the Niners winning all of them. Even small ones. And you're right. Brock Purdy is an excellent passer, man. He is tight. His passing percentage is unbelievable. Chris leads the league in rushing yards, I believe, right now. Philly and the Niners are very close in touchdowns for both passing and rushing. Philly has way more turnovers. The only thing Philly didn't have was a 3-game losing streak. And they could have easily been 7-4 or 6-5. And I don't know what happened with San Francisco there. If people were or what, I honestly wasn't watching. What I do know is Philly comes back and wins weird games. And if they're going to win, it's going to be by a score. And I mean a score like a kick or a touchdown. That's it. That's how they win games. That's how they won all year. And I've honestly never cheered for a team that was on the winning side of that ever in my life. Like to be 10-1 and to have probably 5 games where you're like, it could have gone either way. And even the 2 at the beginning of the year, Minnesota and the Patriots, like, holy fuck. The only way they're going to win is perfect against San Francisco. That's the only thing I could say. And San Francisco, to your point, I want to say Philly beat them in the season before too, didn't they? I feel like Philly went to San Fran and won that game. San Fran's got a lot.
2020. It was the COVID year. It was the COVID year. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. So they're coming in hot and they need this win. And I'm not sure if Philly has it in the tank to pull it off and they're going to get it. And if they don't, they're going to pay for it. I'll give you that all day, man. So
basically Luke and I are like, we're best friends. We talk all the time. We won't talk to each other during the game. We just don't do it. But there's no love lost here. If nothing else, I hope that both teams come out no injuries. I know that sounds like a pansy answer, but really that's what I'm
That's a good
looking
point.
for. 3/4 through the season, I don't want anybody to take a massive hit. My favorite player currently right now, I'm watching this Kelsey, the podcast. I love Jason Kelsey. I think he's friggin' amazing. So yeah, I hope it's a good game. I hope everybody gets a chance to watch it and that neither one of them disappoints. And go Niners.
He made a wild block last week for Hurts to score. And to Mike's point,
Yeah, he did.
I'm really
Yeah.
glad Rob took the
Oh,
Niners.
crushed.
I got one thing going for me, and then, buddy, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Rob's a fucking asshole. This is the one week you didn't have to switch.
Rob is gonna come back and win hard. I like what Rob took. He made some.
I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, I'm going to
actually
4 games on Rick.
Oh,
I'm regretting not
games
taking
on-
Cleveland on this one. Yeah, 4 games.
All right. Okay. Folks, that is the week 12 recap, the week 13 preview. It's been a blast. Glad Reg could show up so that we could talk shit to him about the Minnesota loss, getting beat by the Bears. Yeah, it's been a good week.
Bears.
The Bears. Enjoy your football
Reg,
this
you got
week.
anything about that game or what?
You know what? I
Got a hot take, Reg? Got a hot take on that one?
was half watching the game, and
What's going on this week? Like, oh yeah, bye.
Hopefully, we're just gonna relax and figure things
You
out.
can't lose this week, man. You can't lose
Yeah.
this week.
We're gonna come out of the bye. Hopefully, Detroit loses, and keep on rolling. Justin Jefferson will be back. Yeah, I missed the first half of that game, and I remember looking at the stats and seeing Justin Fields 12 for 12, 100 and something yards. We had like 1 minute of time of possession in the first quarter, and
it was like
it was
3-3.
nothing. And I thought, holy fuck,
Yeah.
we're gonna win this game, and we're getting dominated. I think we had -7 yards. And then I started watching it, and we got that late touchdown, and I was like, holy fuck. And then Fields hit DJ Moore across the middle, and I just thought, you know what? I just turned it off. I didn't even want to watch the next 3 plays where they prepped for the field goal. I just turned it off, and in the morning I looked at it, and it was 12-10, and I thought, I can't believe we just lost that fucking game. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Shit happens, but yeah, I think we got a good week of football coming, and I'm excited for the Philly San Fran game.
I'm not really excited about this week, to be honest with you. There's a couple games, but other
You
than
shouldn't
that,
be.
it's
You're gonna
not
lose.
really
You're gonna
a
lose.
barn burner for me.
Yeah, you're right. That Philly San Fran game is the 4:25 game, so that's your afternoon one.
Denver, Houston.
After
should
that,
be an interesting one.
that'll be an afternoon game too, though. So like, look at your 1 o'clocks. Your 1 o'clocks don't look great, right? They're kind of messy.
I mean,
New Orleans,
Tennessee
Detroit,
being
that's 1 o'clock,
Indianapolis
isn't it?
might be all right.
Yeah,
Detroit's
it
at
might be
1,
all right
right?
to watch you get an L. What was that?
I said
Detroit
Detroit's at 1, are they
should
not?
be. They should be at 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
They should be.
That's the game to watch, in
Um,
my opinion. Both those teams need to win that game. Like, that's a beauty
Yeah.
game. Hopefully, it's not
Yeah,
a
for sure.
3-3 game at the half.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Broncos
for going
Texans
up.
are at 1, by the way.
Yes, they are.
Uh,
I'll probably watch the Steelers game because I would like watching Kyler lose. Either way, thanks, Luke, for showing up and coming out. It's always a blast. Always a good
Appreciate it.
time to chat with you. Guys got great knowledge, great takes. So we appreciate that. To the lads,
Maybe.
thank you for everybody that's watching, listening, all the good stuff. Reg, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. We're live every Wednesday, 7 o'clock on YouTube. Otherwise, you can catch it on Spotify. You can catch it the next day on YouTube, or right after, or Apple Podcasts. So if you like listening to us talk shit about each other's teams, go Eagles.
You.
Check us out. So
Fuck you.
thanks everyone for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, Luke.
Yeah.
Needed you there.
Thanks, guys. It's always a
And,
blast, man.